Blood still dripped from Jamal's forehead when the ER clerk asked, "Do you have insurance?" He had been hit by a drunk driver and thrown from his bike. His ribs screamed in pain. "I need a doctor, please," he gasped. The woman glanced at the waiting area, then back to her screen. "We'll need a credit card for the initial charge." By the time they ran his information, Jamal collapsed on the tile floor. Black accident victim delayed for credit check. What happened next? Will outrage you. Would you let this happen in your city? Comment no if you wouldn't. It was a quiet Saturday morning in Houston when 28-year-old Jamal Carter hopped on his bike for his daily ride. He loved the feeling of freedom the open streets gave him before the city fully woke up. But just 3 blocks from home, a speeding sedan blew through a stop sign. The impact sent Jamal tumbling across the asphalt, his head striking the curb. His vision blurred, his chest felt like it was caving in, but he was still conscious. A bystander called 911, and within minutes, an ambulance rushed him to the nearest private hospital. Jamal thought he was safe now. But the real danger was just beginning. Inside the emergency department, the first words he heard weren't, "Where does it hurt?" but, "Do you have your insurance card?" His answer, "No," would change everything. The intake clerk's tone was clinical, almost bored, as she explained hospital policy. No treatment without a verified payment method, unless life was deemed immediately at risk by a physician. The problem? Jamal couldn't see a doctor until his payment status cleared. A nurse tried to intervene, noting the blood on his shirt and the way he winced with every breath, but was told, "We can't violate billing protocols." Meanwhile, a man with a sprained wrist but excellent insurance was whisked past him in a wheelchair. Jamal's breathing grew shallow. His mind felt heavy. He overheard the clerk on the phone. "We're still waiting on the credit check." It took nearly 40 minutes before a doctor finally examined him. The diagnosis: 3 broken ribs, a concussion, and internal bleeding. Every minute of delay had worsened his condition. His sister arrived in tears, demanding answers. That's when they learned the truth. The hospital wasn't breaking the law. In Texas, loopholes in emergency care statutes allowed private facilities to defer treatment until payment was confirmed, unless the case was immediately life-threatening. That vague definition left room for deadly hesitation. Jamal's blood pressure crashed moments after being moved to a bed. Monitors blared and nurses swarmed, trying to stabilize him. A doctor shouted orders for transfusions and oxygen. For Jamal, the world was narrowing into a tunnel of noise and light. Later, he would learn that the delay had allowed internal bleeding to reach a critical point. "If we'd gotten to him sooner, it would have been far less dangerous," one nurse admitted quietly, avoiding eye contact. Jamal survived, but only after emergency surgery and 3 days in intensive care. He couldn't stop thinking, if he had been a wealthy white man, would he have been left in that waiting room while someone ran his credit score? Jamal's story spread quickly, sparking outrage across social media. Civil rights groups and healthcare advocates rallied behind him, calling for the closure of payment loopholes in emergency care. A Houston City Council meeting erupted into heated debate when residents demanded care first, bill later laws. A local TV station confronted the hospital's administrator, who claimed the staff followed standard protocol, a phrase that only fueled public anger. Jamal, still recovering, began working with a nonprofit focused on racial disparities in healthcare. He spoke at schools, churches, and rallies, sharing his story as proof that injustice wasn't just history, it was happening in modern America's emergency rooms. Because in the richest country on earth, no one should have to buy the right to live.